You're watching David's Grand Sports Report.
When you call for just any ambulance service, you never know what you might get. But when you call Vital Care at 423-562-9370, you'll get an experienced staff, experienced and professional people who know what the word emergency really means. Don't just trust anyone. You do have a choice when it comes to ambulance service in this area. 562-9370. Don't you love being a part of one of those special nights when all is going good, everything you planned works out the way you expected it, and then there's a special surprise at the end? That's what Friday night was like at Campbell County High School as they took on the Beavers of Karns Friday night and won 41-19 to improve to 8-1 in the season with one more test to pass. The Cougars played a less talented and undermanned Beavers team who liked talking a good game, but I'm afraid talking don't win ball games. Execution wins ball games, and that's exactly what the Cougars did Friday night. They could have scored every time they had the ball. Justin Price isn't about all that, though. He's about winning and winning with class, and that's what he teaches his players to do. While Karns was talking smack, the Cougars just smiled and knew they were making history whether the Beavers liked it or not. They knew the Beavers couldn't do anything to stop them. Ethan Jeffers had another stellar night at quarterback. Corey Phillips played a huge game, scoring on offense. He must have thought it was senior night or something. And he's played well on defense as he stripped the ball from the ball carrier and ran it in from about 50 yards out. Preston Miller was everywhere. He had probably the best game of his season. Joseph Elkins had a good game, but they keyed on Joseph a lot all in this game, which opened up things for Phillips, Torres, and the rest. A good crowd on the Cougars side, but a bad crowd on the Karns side. You know, you don't travel well when you only win one football game. It was a special night, though, as we said. It was senior night, and we want to say thank you to these young men who've allowed old David to be a small part of their career at Campbell County High School. Mr. Corey Phillips, Nick Bailey, Preston Teague, Tracy Thomas, Dylan Presnell, Nick Rogers, Andrew Evans, Anthony Manning, Christian Monday, and Hunter Duncan. And we hope these guys all make Division I and do very well. Here's some other scores in the district. Anderson County had a real good practice against Halls. They beat them 43-13. Gibbs beat Powell 28-14. I'm telling you something, folks, Gibbs is a good football team. Oak Ridge beat Knox Central, a game they had to have. Well, as a matter of fact, Knox Central had to have it too, but they couldn't get it. It was Oak Ridge won 24-13. And Sequoia had a good practice against Clinton. They beat them 35-8. Campbell County, of course, beat Karns 41-19 to go to 8-1. Our neighbors to the north, the Blue Devils, they lost to Oakdale at Jellicoe 27-16. And our neighbors to the east, the Panthers of Cumberland Gap, lost to Scott County big 55-28. Now here's what the standings look like right now, this very minute in the district. Anderson County comes in at 8-1. Campbell County is also 8-1. Oak Ridge is 7-2. Knox Central's 4-5. And Powell is 5-4 overall, but Central beat Powell earlier in the year. Gibbs is 4-5. And Clinton is 3-6. Karns is 1-9 now after that loss to the Cougars. And Halls comes in still winless in the season at 0-9. Now here's a real sneak peek of what's coming up next week. Some very, very important ball games coming up. Anderson County will have to travel to Oak Ridge, and they'll have to beat them to remain in first place. Campbell County will have to travel to Powell, and the Cougars will have to beat Powell to maybe take over first place. And Gibbs is at Central, Clinton will be at Halls, and Karns is through for the season. And I want to get back to the football game. The game was over. Justin Price had his team off to the left over there talking to him, and post-game coaches talk, whatever they have. And John and Tessa Terry started singing a song they had written just for our Cougars, and it's entitled Cougar Roar. And the crowd loved it. I loved it. The Cougar football team loved it. They got behind them after the coach got through talking to them. They ran over there, and they were standing behind John and Tessa, and it was a beautiful thing to behold. And here's just a little sampling of that song. Okay, now the middle school championships were held this past Saturday at Grace Christian Middle School. Now the only game we really care about is the Jacksboro Middle School Oneida game. Last year the Eagles played the Indians in the same game. Oneida was number 1 and Jacksboro was the number 2 seed. Well, this year the roles have been reversed. Jacksboro came in the number 1 seed. Oneida came in the number 2 seed, but it didn't matter. We still lost 22-6. According to head coach Mike Miller, we might have ran 5 plays in the first half. At the half, it was 8-6 Oneida. They gave us chances, though, but our defense didn't take advantage of it, and we lost. It was 8-0 for the longest time in the first half. We scored in the last 2 minutes before the half ended. Now, we were to get the ball in the second half, so, we're feeling pretty good about ourselves. But they kicked an onside kick. We wasn't ready for it. They recovered it, and that was it for the Eagles. Nonetheless, though, a very good year for our Eagles. As always, Coach Mike Miller does an outstanding job with these young men, and we congratulate the Eagles. We also congratulate the Owls on making the playoffs again. And lunch or dinner time is a great time to call Papa John's Pizza. It's always hot, fresh, and delivered to your door. Hey, we're just going to shut up and tell you the phone number, 562-7272. Call that number and get the best pizza anywhere. Calvary Christian Academy, quality academics and biblical character. You can receive both. All the things you want in a school for your child. Grade levels K through 12. Phonetic-based reading, individualized curriculum, diagnostic testing, character building, and biblical principles. For more information, contact Calvary Christian Academy, 2139 Jacksboro Pike, P.O. Box 1402, La Follette, Tennessee. Phone 423-562-7267. 423-562-7267. Alrighty, getting ready for the tournament, talking about the Campbell County Soccer League. They'll be having their tournament this coming Saturday starting at 10 a.m. Now, we want to congratulate, though, a little 7- and 8-year-old soccer team, the Sparks, and they're coached by Jason Austin, who finished the season undefeated. As a matter of fact, they've been undefeated for 2 years. We stuck around after their game because these kiddies, they challenged their parents, and it was on. I never smelled so much Ben Gay in all my life. Now, the parents won 3-0, but they fouled, they cheated in every way possible, I do believe. I was rooting for the kiddies, by the way. Of course, I would always root for the kids, but lots of fun, though, was had between the kids and the parents, and lots of fun was had up at Ken Snodderly Field, and they'll get down to business, though, this next Saturday starting at 10 a.m. League President Mike Riley has done an awesome job with the league in its first year, I think. The Campbell County Youth Football Association had their banquet this past Sunday at 3 p.m. over at the West La Follette School, and they celebrated another fantastic year and the first year of being on their own home field. They had a lot of fun, a lot of food, a lot of fellowship, and they had just a great time. And I'm proud to say that I was a small part of it, and I was only too happy to be invited, and I went over and we had a great time with all these young men and women. October 31st is going to be the second annual Halloween Bash at Jellicoe High School. A basketball team starting at 5 p.m. I'm thinking about maybe dressing up for this event. Everybody dresses up for this Halloween Bash and everything. I'm thinking about sticking a Hershey's Kiss in my belly button and go as a chocolate chip cookie. Who knows? But anyway, we're going to go up there. We're going to have a good time, and we might video some and bring you back a full report on that. Also, don't forget, November the 5th, the Blue Devils will scrimmage the Cougars at John R.W. Brown Gymnasium, starting at 6 p.m. for the girls' game and 7 p.m. for the boys' game, and all that's to benefit the Toys for Tots. Just bring a toy for a child, and they'll let you in free of charge. Alrighty, that's all the local sports we've got for you today. I thank you for being with us. You guys stay tuned, because there's a whole big bunch more to come right here on WLAF, and you don't want to miss a thing.